What is up? Welcome to another episode of Club Fantasy's Mock It Like It's Hot. This is our weekly mock draft show. And folks, we have a great one tonight. It is August 1st. Home league drafts are right around the corner. And for the rest of this summer, that's the kind of leagues we're going to be focusing on. And for tonight, we have a great guest, Julia Papworth. You may know her from the Fantasy Footballers. And in honor of that, we're doing a 0.5 PPR draft. And there's going to be some argument on the show on whether or not 0.5 is the ideal fantasy scoring style. The draft room is full. Let's get into it. What is up? Welcome to Mock It Like It's Hot, Club Fantasy's weekly mock draft show. I am your host, Ryan Weisse. With me, as always, Austin Amandolia. And Austin, do we ever have some guests tonight?
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. I mean, we have actual football happening. Plus, it's August, which means it's the height of draft season is coming up. I'm very excited to get into this mock. And it's also great to do half PPR because Underdog is a happy PR site, and I'm in the middle of getting caught up on my best ball draft. So all around, great vibes.
Yes. And as I mentioned, not one, but two guests tonight. We're not going to spend too much time on the male guest because you see him on Club Fantasy all the time. The founder of Club Fantasy, Josh Hudson. I'll at least let you say hi, sir.
Hi. There you go.
Yeah,
this is all about Julia. Let's be real here.
And that's the extent that you will hear from Josh tonight. I'm actually muting his mic from this point forward because I don't think
he's real chatty.
I'd say I don't think it's a coincidence that this draft filled up so damn quick. When I mentioned who was doing the draft with us tonight, Julia Papworth, you may know her from the Fantasy Footballers editor over there now. Somebody has been on a come up since I left the Ballers, but you're also a coworker of mine over at Football Guys, so we're still hanging out together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Julia,
how are you guys doing?
I say let everybody know where they can find your work, anything you got working on right now.
You can find me right there at Julia Papworth on all the socials. On the Twitter, on the Instagram, you can find me over at Fantasy Footballers and Football Guys. So, like you said, I'm staying real busy. It's getting real busy right now. Come August.
I was so happy for you when you got the editor spot, and I'm glad to see you're still thriving over there with the Ballers. Great.
I'm loving it. It's so fun over there. Yeah, it's a great group.
Absolutely. All right, guys, let's get into this draft a little bit. And if you've never tuned into an episode of Mock It Like It's Hot before, a couple of things I need to get out of the way right away. First and foremost, have you joined our Discord yet? The invite for this draft went out on Discord hours before it went out anywhere else. And also, that's where we do a lot of our best ball talk. If you want to see me and Austin throw jabs at each other about fantasy baseball, we have that set up on the Discord as well. There's a lot of really cool stuff up there. Link is in the description of this video. But more importantly, it is August. And August means something special here at Club Fantasy, and that is Women of Fantasy Football Month. And it's going to look a little bit different, though we do have one of the women of fantasy football with us here tonight. It's going to look a little bit different this month. We are not going to have the show takeover that we normally do, but that does not mean we are not contributing in some way, shape, or form to the Women of Fantasy Football. I'm going to let Josh tell you about that in just a second. But before he does, make sure you guys check out thegridirongoddess.com. If you use promo code WOFF, WOFF, you can get 15% off of your order. So much cool stuff over there. Shirts, koozies, even trophies as you're heading into this fantasy football season. And some of those shirts actually go with a tournament that we're hosting right now. And Josh, there's a charity aspect to that tournament as well. Why don't you tell them about it?
Yeah, so it's our Gods and Goddesses of Fantasy Football Tournament. We're going to be doing a series of raffles every single month. This month will be official. We've already kind of talked about it, but we'll officially open the raffles on Monday. We're giving away a signed Nico Collins Houston Texans jersey. It'll be $5 raffle tickets. All the proceeds for that will go towards our WAF Galvanized Scholarship Fund, which if you followed Women of Fantasy Football for any period of time, you know much of what we do during this month is all about the WAF Galvanized Scholarship. But with the tournament, what we're going to be doing is additional raffles every single month. And each month, those raffles will benefit a different charity. We've got different organizations that are all geared towards supporting women and women in sports. So we wanted to kind of provide a little bit more interaction and engagement with kind of what we're doing with women in fantasy football instead of just focusing on our 1 month, kind of extended out through the entire football season this year. So all the information is available on the website, womenoffantasyfootball.com. And stay glued to the Twitter account, Instagram account at women_FF. We'll have all kinds of updates and everything else through there. So
Perfect.
That's awesome. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
It'll be a lot of fun this year.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, Josh. This draft, folks, as I mentioned, 12 team, 0.5 PPR, pretty standard score or lineup settings: 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex. I did not have kicker and defense in this draft. If you've watched our show before, you know I would just mercilessly make fun of you if you did your drafting of your kicker and defense before the last couple of picks. Housekeeping: we do not grade every team. That is not the point of this show. We're going to talk about interesting picks. We're going to talk about draft strategy. We're going to talk about things you can learn through mock drafting, but we're not going to sit here and tell you how every team did and if we found every pick interesting. It's just not what we're going to do on this show. If that's why you tuned in, stay tuned in. We could use the views, but you're not going to be happy at the end of the show. But what I do like to do is thank all of our drafters as we get started. And I scrolled out at the beginning of the show. So picking from the 1 spot, we have Stevie Barisi at the 2, Better Vision at the 3, Lando Nice, Andrea picking from the 4, Austin chose the 5, Julia chose the 6 because he's sniping going on there. Miller Badger picking from the 7, our good friend Vince Mapstone at the 8, Josh has the 9, TDs and Tequila, I'm guessing, picking from the 10, J Money Jarrett at the 11, and our good friend Scampers. Haven't seen him draft in a while. I think Julia brought him out of the woodwork. He is picking from the 12. I am going to go ahead and get this draft started, folks, as we talk draft settings. It is a 1-minute clock. You may see some timeouts for my people here because I am terrible about asking questions right when they are about to make a pick. But if you guys say, hey, I'm about to make a pick, there's 3 of you now, so you guys could jump in and help each other out. Austin, let's get this thing started talking about 0.5 PPR. Julia.
Oh, he's gone. Austin's gone.
I'm looking at my show sheet right now, so I did not realize.
He's back.
Nope. He lost his chance. Didn't even realize he walked away. Julia, let's get started talking about 0.5 PPR. You work for the Fantasy Football.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
And comments were made at the beginning of the show that is the ideal way of scoring fantasy football. I think by obligation, you have to say that's true. But is that your favorite way to score fantasy at this point?
Yeah, it's legally in my contract. I have to. But look, I'm a Libra. I like to go down the middle. I like everything to be nice and even. I think 0.5 PPR is beautiful because it doesn't overvalue. Like if you're getting a full PPR, then you're reaching on some people and stuff like that. I think it's a nice level just in the middle. It keeps everyone happy, even those standard people.
I don't disagree. I'm going to make a case for standard here in a moment. But Austin, you were the one at the beginning of the show who said 0.5 PPR is ideal. Anything you want to add to what Julia said?
I mean, I think Julia covered it. The only thing I would say is like the reason full PPR sometimes annoys me is because you'll have a running back get a dump off pass for 0 to -2 yards, and it's still almost a full point. And I'm like, that is not valuable in real football. Like, sure, you didn't take the sack, but actually an incomplete pass is just as meaningful in that situation as that catch. And so I'm fine with like giving some extra bonus to a catch in general. So that's why I like the half point, but a full point, sometimes I'm just like, really, like a catch for 0 yards is not the same as a 10-yard rush in my mind. It doesn't balance how I would like it to.
Josh.
So by that logic, Austin, every single first down should be a whole bunch of extra points in regular scoring leagues, right? Because those count for something that moves the football, right?
So do the yards.
At the point, I want to see points scored. That's what I want. I want maximum points possible. That's what I want. This whole Julia, this half PPR, my guy's only going to score 270 points all year. Boring. Give me the guy that's going to score 370 points. That's what I want.
So, Josh,
I mean, we all stipulate that you should play the league that is the most fun to you.
Yeah.
I just prefer the league that is more realistic towards the actual value in NFL. I'm trying to translate NFL value into fantasy value as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of, go ahead, Julia.
I was just going to say, and it is fun, like you guys were talking earlier, that you have kind of leagues in all different ways. It's fun to be in a bunch of different scoring settings, right? Because everything, like, otherwise you're like, what am I doing? We got the same team everywhere, all that sort of stuff. But it's fun to have stuff with weird rules. Like, that's what some of the coolest leagues I've been in are, the ones with weird scoring settings and weird rules and all that stuff.
Yeah. And I'll give you that. And Josh has made the argument for as many points as possible for years. I'm not going to sit here and advocate that everybody switch to standard scoring. But here is my old man screams at cloud moment for the episode.
Do it. Go.
I have been playing fantasy football, I think, longer than all three of you. My first fantasy league was like 2001, literally right when Yahoo was getting started. PPR scoring started because running backs were the only people who used to touch the ball back in the day, and you needed a reason to make wide receivers valuable. The NFL is flipped on its head at this point. Wide receivers touch the ball way more than 80% of running backs. So I will give you half PPR at least keeps people happy and keeps their mouth shut. But
I mean, seriously though, at the end of the day, don't we talk about in real life football that more dynamic running backs, the ones that catch passes, are more valuable in real football?
Ooh.
Sure, but then you get your Rachaad Whites that end up being the #1 overall running back.
Yeah, Josh, don't you love scoring that makes
Yeah.
Rachaad White fantastic in fantasy football?
Okay,
Josh?
I didn't sign up for flipping the script.
We
on
all
you,
love that.
okay?
Thanks, Austin. I don't know that I would have made that connection as quickly as you did.
Like, I love the guy Rachaad
I
White.
still am never going to draft Rachaad White. He's going to be the worst RB 30, whatever is going to be this year. Like, no, I don't want nothing to do with that.
Yeah, but he was an RB3 once year thanks to PPR scoring.
Yeah.
Thanks to PPR scoring.
Now,
Yes, yeah.
now do it as points per game. He wasn't near as high that year.
I'm just
So
saying.
your argument is bounded on the fact that half PPR gives you 270 points in a year and you want 300 plus points in a year. That's not a points per game argument.
It is more fun to have more points. Like, I'm in one league where, like, breaking 70 is a lot. And I'm like, God, it feels like we had a horrible week. And then I'm somewhere where I'm like 165 points. Yeah, that feels great. Breaking 200, it does feel nicer.
You're not doing that in a half PPR league.
Yeah, which I think that's fair. Like, I feel like I like
Oh, it's
somewhere
my
more in
turn.
the middle where I'm
Oh,
like,
hold on. Let's focus.
when I'm like, it's a 70-point week, I feel that. I'm like, it's brutal. But I also, similarly, when it's like, I have to score 300 points every week and play all these gimmicks to get to the 300 points, that is where it starts to go too far to me. And so that's part of why I love the half PPR, somewhere in the middle.
And that's what I like with PPR, because if I'm in a PPR league and I score 70 points, that's like a swift kick in the ass that I need to do something to fix my damn roster.
But
I don't feel like you get that with half PPR or even standard.
You do.
No,
the number
you really
just
don't.
goes down. Like, it's all relative.
No, because if I scored 70 points in a standard league, I'd have the best team, but I still wouldn't think that I had the best team.
Yeah.
Okay, I do understand what you're saying there. I'll give you that. Okay. Where I want to leave it at is this, because I don't want to spend the whole show with us fighting over ideal scoring, though it's probably the most valuable thing anybody's going to get from this show. And Austin will agree with me on this. I always caution against adding points to even things out, because it doesn't always do what you think it does. It's the argument that Austin and I have made against tight end premium for years now, because tight end premium does not solve the problems that people think it solves. It actually exacerbates the problems, makes them way, way worse, does not help in the slightest. Full PPR scoring solved a problem from the early 2000s. Using it now, it kind of makes the problem worse, because Rachaad White is a valuable running back.
Yeah. Oh, that and like guys like Wan'Dale Robinson, they suddenly become like top 24 receivers.
Yeah.
They like, and again, like I love it because on DraftKings for DFS, like that is the ideal person for cash leagues, is a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson that's always going to be valued at $4,800 and is going to catch 8 passes a game. Like, cool.
But no one wants to have him on their team. You don't want to have that.
It's so funny because I'm doing all these drafts right now and I'm the one taking him, and I feel dirty taking him.
You should feel dirty. You should feel dirty. You should.
All right. So, Julia, I have questions for you in the chat. We're going to get to the questions in just a second, but I do want to get started with NFL news, guys. There were some interesting things happening, including football coming back this week. So I grabbed 4 headlines, Julia. I'm going to let you react to all 4 of these or any of the ones you want to react to. But the 4 that jumped out to me, the Terry McLaurin trade request, I feel like that is a point of concern for a lot of things. The hurt hand for Baker Mayfield, I feel like is something that is worth monitoring because we really thought that offense was going to be great.
Didn't he hit his hand against? Did he hit his hand against someone's helmet or something?
Helmet, yeah. And then Joe Mixon, Isaiah Likely, they are in jeopardy for week 1. And then this one was more for Austin, but feel free to react if you want to. The Hall of Fame game, we got to see good Trey Lance, shout out Austin, and good Kamani Vidal. Do we think that translates anywhere, Julia? So I think the Terry McLaurin news is the one people are going to want to know the most about. So
where do I start? I mean, it feels like somebody said it somewhere, like whenever anyone's like, I want to be traded, like how many times does it happen? Or is it just someone like, oh, here you go, here's a bag of money. I mean, he's got a great quarterback. I understand he deserves to be paid and he should be paid. I think if he gets traded, does he have a clause like, do you know what his contract looks like?
I don't believe
he's in the going into the last year of his contract. I think there's like 16 million on it.
This is the thing. He's not going to want to go anywhere. Like he's going to want to go to a contender. I thought San Francisco might make a play. And then I was like, crap, I don't know who they're going to try to unload. If they try to unload Ayuk, then we can't have Ayuk and Debo over in Washington. I don't know. Like if he gets traded, he's going to go somewhere where he is the wide receiver 2, which would be great for the team. I don't know if he's going to be okay with that. I think they will get a deal done over there. I think they will. Do you guys agree?
I do. And Josh, I pointed out in this situation, the Myles Garrett situation, where Myles Garrett essentially wrote a love letter to Cleveland and requested his trade and then got a new deal a week later. I think there's a lot of overreaction to the Terry McLaurin situation right now, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, this is what players do. Like they make these proclamations because they're trying to, put pressure on the organization. Like it's a month before the season starts, right? And everybody knows that the longer Terry McLaurin holds out, the more momentum they're going to lose after ending up in the NFC Championship game last year. And the harder it is for McLaurin to bounce back into football shape. So it's a lose-lose situation all around. So by going through and making this public, he puts more pressure on the team. But really what complicates this whole situation was the 4-year extension that Courtland Sutton just signed. Because Courtland Sutton's the exact same age as Terry McLaurin. McLaurin wants to be paid like these 26, 27-year-olds that are getting paid. McLaurin is 30. And if Sutton's only signing for 23, why should Washington sign McLaurin to $7 million more per year?
I mean, it's smart that he's trying to get it now, obviously. Like, I think he's going to have insane touchdown regression this coming season. Like, I'm trying to avoid drafting him. Like, the reason he did so well was he finally had all the touchdowns. But like, I mean, get your money now, bro. Like, as much as you can. I don't think you're going to have quite a good a season. So, I don't know.
And he has not been holding out of training camp, from what I understand too. So it's also
he wants to play.
He's holding in.
Yeah. Well, but if he had held out, that would have been his leverage point, right? Too. So like now his leverage.
Yeah, but then that's when the team can find him.
That's what I'm saying. He was trying to avoid doing that because he didn't want to get fined, and so now this is his leverage point to get that contract.
I'm only here so I don't get money.
I'm only here so I don't get fined. Yeah. That should be an interesting one. I think they'll get that deal done. Did you see Micah Parsons? Oh, Micah Parsons set Dallas on fire.
Micah Parsons feels way more upset than even Myles Garrett. So
he should be.
He's airing out the laundry on top of that.
He should get out of there immediately. Also, have we watched the Netflix Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders? There's 2 seasons. I'm obsessed with it. Guys, whenever that song comes on now, when they do their little intro thing, when it comes on at the gym, I'm ecstatic. But now I'm like,
you kick it into overdrive.
I kick into overdrive. This old lady high kick is like right up to parallel there. Yeah,
I love it.
But
Austin, go ahead. I say Austin, any takes on the Baker Mayfield injury or the the injuries to Joe Mixon, Isaiah Likely. Mayfield seems like he's going to be fine, but you never want to see a hand injury on a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, my boring takeaway is like, just stay tuned and keep track.
Yeah.
the injury updates that we get. The good thing for Mayfield is, he's got a few weeks still. So I would just continue to monitor. I mean, I haven't been super like, oh, the Buccaneers are going to be super great this year anyways.
Well,
and so I feel like,
Austin, you weren't with me last week.
Sorry, you said you don't think the Buccaneers are going to be super great this year?
I mean, they'll be good, but I'm not like in on it. Like when Ryan introduced it,
I am all in on the Bucs. I think they could be. I mean, do you not like Ibuka?
Well, hold on a second. I'm going to let you guys fight this out, but I want to throw this piece of information out there for you to have it out there because Austin was not on the show last week.
Okay.
We did an 8-team mock last week. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
A number after 7. Yeah.
Those leagues still exist. And they don't get enough love and showmanship and strategy. In this 8-team mock, Baker Mayfield went undrafted. Did not make a fantasy roster.
That doesn't surprise me because there's, like you said, 8 people in that league. So 8 quarterbacks went, right?
About 11 when it was all said and done.
Well, let's take so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I could easily see a world where he doesn't go because if you have someone who believes in Caleb and you have someone who believes in Herbert, Kyler, all of them will go ahead of him. I could see that. So it was probably Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Hurts, Jaden, Bo Nix, Mahomes, Dak, Kyler, Herbert, Caleb. Maybe a Justin Fields.
When I started this segment, I did not expect you, who was about to defend the Buccaneers, to be the one that's like, okay, fuck him. He shouldn't have went in an 8-league.
No, don't hear what I'm not saying. I see a world where he didn't go. I think people you could do that whole thing where
people are counting on regression.
Like Bo Nix is a discount Joe Burrow and Baker is a discount Bo Nix. Like you could go all the way down the domino effect thing and just count on regression. And there might be some, but I think he is surrounded by so much talent. And I know we think we say, what if last year was the outlier year? Well, can't we just sometimes think that maybe it took someone a little while to get going because of situations? I mean, we're seeing that with, why? I don't know. Maybe I just really like Baker. I don't know.
I do as well. You're preaching to the choir. Austin, counterpoint. Do you want to try to burst our bubble?
Yeah. I mean, Julia already gave my argument for me. It's the regression. It's that he threw 41 touchdowns last year. And I don't think he's going to repeat that. Now, to your point, Julia, I've liked Baker for a long time as a quarterback. Even when he was in Cleveland, I was like, let's just give him another year. And I think getting out of Cleveland was the best thing that could have happened for him.
Not my problem, as he said.
Yeah, exactly. But I definitely think he's a capable quarterback. It's just I see him going as the QB, as a top 10 QB consistently, far and above the 10 to 15 range on underdog fantasy in particular. And that's where it gets me. I feel like I'm constantly having to draft him at the ceiling. And it's the 40 touchdowns. I don't think it's going to repeat. I do think they have good talent, but I also am a little bit nervous of what is Chris Godwin going to look like? I think he's going to come back really well, but
he's going to look the same. He's the same height. He hasn't gotten any taller. All right. That was really good. I'm sorry. I just
incredible. Anyways,
I'm on fire. Sorry.
Oh man.
Folks, if you've never tuned into an episode of Mock It Like It's Hot before, we will talk about the draft eventually. It really goes on in the background. At the end of the draft, I will have all 3 of these guys break down their strategy. So there will be something to learn from the draft, and we'll be talking about it here in a moment. Josh, before we move on, I just want to quickly wrap up on the Isaiah Likely, Joe Mixon injuries. More importantly, with them being in jeopardy for week 1, does this do anything for you for Nick Chubb and Mark Andrews?
Not really. I mean, Nick Chubb should get a boost. I get that. It's still kind of what Nick Chubb do we get? Because he, coming off of that knee injury, he hasn't looked anything like himself. But it's kind of similar to Derrick Henry, how he just keeps defying father time.
Yeah.
If there's anybody that can defy, bouncing back from that kind of injury, it's Nick Chubb. He's just he always seems to be in the best shape of his life. But I don't love that Houston offensive line, which
Oh
kind
God,
of
it's
makes
horrible.
it makes me worrisome for how he could bounce back. Andrews is going right where Andrews should be going, and I don't think Isaiah likely not playing for a couple weeks or having a slow start to the season is truly going to change that. This is still going to be a very run first team, and Mark Andrews' fantasy upside lies strictly with touchdown potential.
I have several comments.
Please.
First of all, how amazing would it be if Nick Chubb did bounce back and he just he would win?
I'm rooting for it.
Like comeback player of the year, right? Like I think everyone is rooting for it. Do I think it'll happen? No, because who else do we got? We got Damian Pierce over there. He's not doing anything. And what is
Woody Marks kid from USC?
Woody Marks is like, please God. They're gonna have to get someone over there because they've made it clear that they don't like Damian Pierce. They've made it clear many times. I don't know if Chubb can hold up. Even if he can hold up, they have to have someone just to hedge their bets in case he cannot. I'm very concerned about Joe Mixon, and I was very pro Mixon. Like I was drafting him everywhere, and now I'm very nervous. And I think he might fall apart. I think Mark Andrews is thanking his lucky stars that Isaiah Likely is having an issue, because otherwise I think that Baltimore, and they still might, I think the Ravens are down to trade Andrews during the season. Maybe they, I don't know where he goes, but talk about touchdown regression there on that guy. But I have so much Mark Andrews in Dynasty. I have so much Mark Andrews in Dynasty that I'm like, well, maybe I can just be, because I couldn't trade him. I was getting nothing for him. So at least now I'm like, well, I might get some, I'll have something I can start him with.
I was gonna say, I see it completely differently. I think Isaiah Likely got carried by 2 good weeks last year, and Mark Andrews is still the tight end to own in Baltimore, like by a wide margin.
Where would you have in your tight end rankings? Where would you put Mark Andrews then?
For redraft, I have Mark Andrews as my tight end 5.
Oh, let's see why.
I have Andrews as my 7 in half PPR.
I feel like Andrew. Okay, I'm gonna circle back as soon as I'm done doing my pick, because if I open another window, we know what's gonna happen is I'm gonna get super confused. Okay.
Where's Likely for you, Ryan?
I think he was at 22 last time I looked. So, and that didn't change much with the injury. I don't think I even knocked any targets off of him for the injury. I had him at roughly 50 targets. I have Andrews at roughly 75 to 80 targets, but I don't see the touchdown regression that Julia alluded to. Mark Andrews is.
You want me to show you the number? No. Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Well,
keep going.
I just
you don't think you'll see any touchdown regression? No, it was like literally the only thing he did.
He is Lamar Jackson's guy. It's the only thing he did. It's the only thing he's going to do. And in fantasy football for a tight end, it's the only thing he needs to do.
I hope you're right. Like I said, I have so many shares. Oh, okay. Can we also talk about what a steal I got with Joe Burrow right there? And like what is that, the 6th round?
I was so close to clicking the draft button on him.
When I took Ridley instead. Sweet Joey B. I love him.
The mock that we did yesterday, Joe Burrow actually fell to round 8. And I was like, you know what? If he's there at 7, I'm definitely taking him. But
he's still my heart. Also, quarterback on Netflix. Could you not love that guy even more? He's such a delight. Okay, let's look and see where I have Mark Andrews. I have Mark Andrews as tight end 10.
Okay, I mean, and that's about where he's going. So you're not.
I would take
off base.
Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, George Kittle, Hawkinson, Laporta, Njoku, Kelsey, Evan Ingram, and Tucker Kraft ahead of him.
It would be
Tucker Kraft.
Oh, I think Tucker Kraft.
Tucker Kraft is gonna ball.
This is a pro Tucker Kraft show, but not
pro Kraft. Pro Kraft.
High 5, Julia.
All right, guys, let's actually get into this draft. What I like to do is
there goes Mark Andrews. There he went.
Great job. This is what happens when we talk about him.
Great job, Brett Vision. I like to recap the first 3 rounds. These are the first 36 picks. These are the most important guys probably going in your fantasy draft right now. And guys, just so you're all aware, the first thing I will be asking all of you at the end of this is if any of these picks stand out to you. So feel free to scour them right now and see what you want to talk about. The draft started off with Bijan Robinson. That team is an auto pick now. They were not an auto pick until I believe after even their Josh Allen pick. So everything normal there. Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, Justin Jefferson, Ashton Genty, Brian Thomas Jr., Devon Achane, Puka Nacua, and Amon-Ra St. Brown wraps up round 1. Scampers who took Amon-Ra St. Brown grabs Derrick Henry in round 2, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, Drake London, Jonathan Taylor, Brock Bowers at the 2-6, Chase Brown, AJ Brown, Lad McConkey, Tyreek Hill, Josh Jacobs, and Bucky Irving wraps up round 2. The team that started off with Bijan and Bucky goes quarterback Josh Allen, and I don't believe any of that was auto draft. Lamar Jackson goes with the next pick. Marvin Harrison, T. Higgins, Trey McBride, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jaden Daniels, Kyron Williams, Breece Hall, Omarion Hampton, Garrett Wilson, and George Kittle. That's a big come up for George Kittle based on draft.
I was hoping that Kittle would suck. He does.
So, Julia, I've been seeing 4th and 5th recently. So for him to jump of what's going on in San Francisco, Julia, do players who don't belong or players that we talked about Kittle a little bit, players that you're happy to see go when they did.
This feels a bad.
He's just going
very blinded by I am a homer, but like they have an incredible start to the schedule for running backs. First of all, they are going to give him the ball no matter what. Connor's he played almost the entire season last year for like the first time in forever. But if you're going to go with an older running back, even, the first 4 games are going to be the best. So it's like, you kind of know what you're getting, right? Either there or Kamara or somewhere there, or you're rolling your dice and you're going for it. Like, that team has a lot of like high upside. Like, yeah.
Austin, when you look at these top 36, anything standing out to you?
Not particularly. Julia named some of them. Me getting Trey McBride at the 3-5, I was a little surprised by that. And then the other one is Omarion Hampton. It's just, I'm not super excited to click the draft button for him in general right now. I would rather have someone like Chuba Hubbard that just got his extension last year. I feel like he's going to continue to be a big part of that offense, even though Bryce Young will probably be better this year. The Panthers are still going to run the ball a lot, and they're going to rely on him. So love getting him in the 4th round. That's a steal there to me, but in general, I feel like this was a pretty chalky first few rounds.
Yeah. Austin likes to buy like the classic used Honda that is like reliable and like he knows it's going to get him where he needs to go. It's not flashy. There's like, he's just getting in there. He knows the mileage, and this, whoever took, and this touchdowns and tequila likes to live on the edge a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a different draft strategy there.
Yeah. And you know what? They both work.
Austin, when you say you were surprised by Trey McBride, is it that he's going, it looks like more than a full round after Brock Bowers now, or I guess almost a full round after Brock Bowers?
Yeah, I've more often than not, when Brock Bowers goes, I've seen Trey McBride go the very next pick. It's like the thing that people do when they miss out on Brock Bowers.
Yeah. And Josh, same question. When you look at the 36, anything jumping out at you?
We touched on Hampton, not to take shots at Julia because I love her, but I just don't. I'm not a Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Oh, you know what? I got to tell you, Josh, I'm not either. I just didn't know what to do at that point.
Why did you draft him?
I don't know, because this is why. Okay, this is why.
Because you're on a live stream and you don't want to time out in front of everybody.
I know. I didn't want to time out, and I'm going to be honest. I'm 100% really not into him, but I also did kind of want to see what my team turned out to be, right? Yeah. Because I was thinking. What I would have done there, I was hoping I'd get McBride, right? And that went away. And I wasn't going to go with a quarterback yet. And I was looking at Kyron, but I didn't want to start 3 running backs because I've done that before. Yeah. And I didn't really love who I got later.
Yeah.
Looking at it now, I could have done Kyron and I would have been totally fine taking like Devontae Adams. That might have been a better thing, but I also like Jameson Williams where I got him, or I like James Conner where I got him. We're being really honest here. Like,
that's what the purpose of a mock. So,
that is the whole purpose of a mock. And that's the lesson I would have you guys take from Julia here. Twofold lesson. One, we talk about on this show all the time. Don't always take the guy you would normally take. Wait and see where he might fall. Because like Austin just brought up, let's say in a real draft, after Brock Bowers went, you would always take Trey McBride. Well, you just found out you might be able to get him a full round later, so it might be worth waiting. And like Julia said, she wouldn't normally take Jackson Smith and Jigba, but she's been going 3 running backs. She wants to see what this team looks like. That is how you see.
Now I got to ask, why are you out on JSN? Because I know I am out on him.
I think Sam Darnold turned into
I was going to say Sam Darnold.
Because someone's got to throw him the ball. And I want the best for Sam Darnold. I want him to do well. but I just don't think that he will. I just don't think he will. And I feel like the NFC West is going to be pretty good. And Seattle's going to have to play. Okay, hold on. I can't do two things at once. Okay. So in this situation, maybe I will take. Okay. So like, I don't like Najee. Don't like Javonte. I don't want to go Ramondre because I have Diggs. We've talked about Rashad White because there's that. So yeah,
of Julia's brain.
This is I know, but normally I would take Pearsall here. And you know what? I have Christian McCaffrey. It's fine. I'm going to go Pearsall here. We'll do that. Why not?
I would remind everybody, if you are enjoying what you're seeing here today, please like, subscribe, drop in the comments about where you think we're right, where you think we're wrong. If you think Amari and Hampton belongs in the first 3 rounds, or Jackson.
If you like to hear the inner workings of my brain,
workings of Julia's brain,
frightening spot. My husband has now learned, like, I talk to myself so much that he has now learned to just sit and let it happen and let me go through my whole conversations. And over 4th of July, we went to go visit my father in Arizona. And about halfway through that trip, I turned to my husband and I go, I'm exactly like my dad. And he goes, oh, 100%. And he goes, but why do you say that? And I go, because he just talks to himself all the time. And he goes, yeah, you should just sit there and just listen to it happen. That's what I do with you. And I was like, oh my God, yeah. Like he just does it same way.
My wife has picked up the opposite. I will be mid-sentence and then get an idea for a fantasy article or something and just stop talking. And then like 5 minutes later, she's like, are you going to finish what you were telling me? And I'm like, oh,
well, that's it. Oh man.
Let's get to the thumbnail. We're more than halfway through the show. I like to try to cut these shows off at an hour. I don't know if we're going to make it tonight, but I did think we had not spent many, if any, time on Marvin Harrison Jr. And I have a real feeling he's the thumbnail because Julia is on the show with us. Julia, I got called out a few weeks ago for having Trey McBride too high, Kyler Murray too low, because I was not respecting the Marvin Harrison bounce back. Do you see that happening this season?
Yeah, 100%. Have you seen those guns? He's working out. Yeah, pipe, baby. Yeah, look, I think that, I mean, the man has talent. He has generational talent. We're not all wrong with that. That doesn't just go away. Just go away. There's many times that we've seen people with less talent than Marvin Harrison who have trouble, like, starting the car, right? Like somebody's doing something a little bit different. They're not working together. And then there's a trade and then there's this or whatever, or vice versa. It's working and then you go somewhere else. I think that so much of that was really hedging on Kyler. And I think that there is so much anti-Kyler vibe out there. Just because of some of, just some of the things that come out about him and whatnot. But I think that they got their stuff together. I think they sat down and I think they figured it out or are starting to figure it out. And that's the thing. And then, and who did we draft? Who's the lineman we drafted? And oh God, hold on. Who took Tyler Warren and then Kyle Pitts and Travis Kelce?
Oh, I was going to call that out. We are normally very nice to our drafters and we will continue to be.
We are, but we're going to have conversations. It's a learning space. We should learn from this space.
But we do have a drafter who has 4 tight ends in the first 10 rounds of this draft.
I feel like
I didn't even scroll up all the way and see Brock Bowers. I didn't even scroll that high. Oh, good Lord. Okay.
Austin, does Trey McBride have to fall even a bit for Marvin Harrison to succeed more?
No, I don't think so at all. And I'm very much in the camp of seeing Marvin Harrison bounce back as well. And I think the two of them can just experience success together. I can't get, since Julia's on the show and is with the footballers, like I can't get Bats and Borgs out of my mind with this because they talked a lot about, or it's either them, I mix them up and Robert Mays at times because I listen to them both so much. And one or two of the both of them have talked about how much the Cardinals just threw Marvin Harrison Jr. out there to run every single type of route they needed because they had nobody else on the field. And so out here running clear out routes. And it's like, this guy was the freaking top 3 pick for you and he's running clear out routes for you, that's not how you should be using Marvin Harrison. And now they have some other guys in there to help play those roles, and they're going to be able to deploy Marvin Harrison the way he's meant to be deployed. So I'm very much in the camp. I do think, I mean, Kyler Murray is like a incredible value to me because I think there's plenty of upside there. I always worry about his end of season performance because the Cardinals just seem to typically fall off.
We're really good at that. We're really good at giving you like hope and then just really breaking your heart.
You know, it happens. There are teams that just do that. So like I get it late in the season. Like I prefer to have another quarterback in my back pocket if I have Kyler Murray, just to like ease my heart. But
like who would be a good pairing for you for Kyler?
Like almost anybody that's still on the board. Dak Prescott, Drake
Dak
May.
is going to have such a year.
Yeah,
people are not even thinking.
Someone
about
in the
him.
comments said Joe Milton is that going to outperform Dak.
Yeah, I saw Jamie put that in there. And respectfully, no.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Dak, I think like he is low key going to be someone that wins people leagues, in particular in best ball. Like getting him late in those best ball underdog scenarios, I think is going to be really key. So yeah, I want someone else's Kyler, but I feel like McBride and Harrison should all have a really good year.
And Josh, that's where I was going to wrap this thing up is I don't know. It's been a while since I've asked for your take on Kyler, Josh. Is this a situation where we love the weapons and we don't trust the quarterback, or are you in agreement that Kyler's a nice sleeper this year?
I mean, Kyler's my QB6. So
okay.
There you go. Yeah. Where do you out of curiosity, where do you have Bo Nix?
8.
Okay.
Where do you have Mayfield?
27.
42.
15.
Yeah.
Hold on. Who am I drafting here?
I mean, I still have him over 4,000 yards, but I think with with the defense not being good, because that defense, the secondary is just god awful. I think he's going to force a lot of turnovers. He's going to throw more INTs, which is not uncharacteristic of him. And I think the touchdowns come down to I have him at 28, which is more along the lines of like his career high before his career high.
Yeah.
Wait, who do you have at 28?
Baker.
28 touchdowns.
I was like
28 touchdowns.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No, for reference, I have Sam Darnold at QB 28.
You have Darnold so high. No, I'm kidding.
Well, look, I had to rank Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, okay?
Did you?
Julia,
Did you? Yeah.
I want to wrap up the early round with a question that Jamie got about your draft specifically. And I think this is a good question because I think a lot of people are struggling with Chase Brown in general. So they want to ask why Chase Brown over Josh Jacobs. When that comes up in their drafts, they struggle with it. So you made that decision, and do you want to justify it?
You know what? I think they are both very good picks. I just think that Chase Brown will have all of the work all of the time. Like they showed that they had no interest in like beefing out that running back room whatsoever. They have all their chips in on Chase Brown. I think that offense is going to be incredible. Their defense is not great, so that's great for fantasy. We want them to be scoring points. We want all that stuff. But I mean, I wouldn't hate picking Josh Jacobs there either. Honestly, I know that's like kind of a cop out to say that both of those are. I think it just comes down to a preference. But I think they're both going to be great workhorses on good offensive teams. Because to be honest, the Packers are going to score too. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you guys have any big differential between those two?
I have them right next to each other in my rankings. So I'm 100% with you that it's a tough question to answer.
Yeah. And Jamie said, doesn't Jacobs get all the work all the time too? Yeah, he does. Who's I forget who's behind Jacobs.
It's the second-year player, Marshawn Lloyd.
Was he?
We wish it was Marshawn Lynch.
He was hurt in the preseason last year. Was he just hurt now though? Am I imagining that?
It came out that it was just a scare. He's going to be fine. You are not imagining.
Got it.
That. Yep.
Okay. I do like him a little bit. And who does Chase Brown have behind him now?
Samaje Perine.
Samaje Perine.
Well, I mean, you know how I feel about Samaje Perine, so I do enjoy him. But I mean, if you're just if that's your tiebreaker, then you could maybe go. I think The running back 2 behind Jacobs might get a little more work than whoever's behind Chase Brown. I don't know. I think those are both great. Yeah.
Austin or Josh, anything to throw on Chase Brown versus Jacobs?
I have Brown at 12, Jacobs at 14. I think it's the whole thing with Jacobs. Every time he has those career seasons, he regresses. He gets hurt. Something happens. He nosedives, and he had 337 touches last year. So I expect some regression there.
I'm gonna bring up some interesting picks from the. Oh, just go ahead, Austin. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I was gonna say, if you had asked me a week ago, I would have been like Jacobs wholeheartedly. But once they cut Zach Moss, it really
that too exactly.
Yeah, that was the thing that affirmed to me, because they split it pretty evenly last year until Moss got hurt, and then I was like, okay, well, Brown can carry the load, but were they going to do that again with Moss back? But now that they cut him, I'm like, yeah, I think Chase Brown, like, to me, it's also a little bit of a scoring setting thing. Like, I kind of like Chase Brown more in PPR than Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs more in half PPR, because I think Josh Jacobs is going to score more touchdowns than Chase Brown is, and that's going to be really crucial in those half PPR settings.
So what I'm going to do here, guys, I have the rounds 4 through the end of the draft up on the screen. I'm going to bring up some interesting things I find about this, but I'm going to ask you guys the same thing before we kind of like wrap the show up, because again, I don't want to keep you guys too much longer than an hour, but man, did we spend a lot on the early part of the draft. I'm not even mad at that though. The early part of the draft, that's where you can ruin your entire team. You don't win your draft at the early part, but you can certainly lose it at the early part. But I did want to throw, we had a scoring question, and you guys kind of alluded to this earlier. Stephen George asks, how do we feel about adding half a point for first downs in a 12-team super flex? So someone in the comments said more scoring is always a good thing. That's obviously Josh's take. There are purists out there who, and they hate PPR for this same reason. If a football player doesn't score points for it, why should a fantasy player score points for it? But it's called fantasy for a reason. So how do you guys feel about adding first downs? Austin, I'll let you get us started with this one.
Yeah, maybe this is just me like showing my cards when it comes to fantasy analysis, but like I can't analyze first downs. It just doesn't work for my brain. Tough. So I'm like, it's not interesting to me as part of the thing too. Like the thing I think I have a very analytical brain, and the thing that attracts me about fantasy football in general is the analytic thinking around it. And so that's why I love best ball, because there's a lot of game theory involved. You get into all of the correlation and the stacking and week 17 matchups and all of these things. You get touchdown regression, like who's going to outperform the ADP. Like all of those things are things that are very easy for my brain to start piecing together and thinking about strategy that way. It's why I love DFS, is because it's like, oh, I can think through like, do I pay high at this position or whatever? Like the strategy and the analytic side of it is crucial for me. I can't analyze first downs, and so like it doesn't add anything for me. But it's like, if it's fun, go for it. Like I don't think it's right or wrong. It's just not something that like gets me out of bed in the morning.
I'm just laughing at Wendy saying all the cool kids are here and me. So,
hi, Wendy.
He's not wrong. Julia, Josh, any hard takes on adding PPR scoring to leagues?
With the for first down,
I mean, first down.
That would be a cool way to do it. Look at all these quarterbacks that are going. Sorry, all the colors. I mean, I'm not against. I know colors great. I'm not against that. I think that would be cool. It's I'm not married to it either. Yeah. I think I like that more than doing a full PPR. I think it would be. Yeah. I'd like to stick with half.
So half PPR and throw a first down in there. I don't think that's a bad.
That'll be interesting. That's called a compromise. That. A compromise.
Hey, right? Look at us. Look at us.
No,
who would have thought?
Give me all
Josh
the
wants
points.
Both.
Yeah, I want both. Give me all
the points. I say.
I love first downs, points per carry.
It's such a
points per reception, points for everything. Give me all of
points for showing up. Just showing up, having all the stuff.
But you only get like
points for sitting on the bench.
Yeah, having your shoes tied. The whole
turning the fan on for your teammate.
That's so nice,
guys.
Tossing them some Gatorade.
When I'm looking at the mid to late round, I'm noticing a trend in this draft that I've not noticed in many of our drafts, and that is lots of teams drafting backups. So we mentioned Miller Badger, who now has 5 tight ends on the roster, and interestingly enough, in a normal 12-team league, any of these 5 could start for a team. I'm not saying they should, but he has Bowers, Kelsey, Tyler Warren, Kyle Pitts, and Dalton Kincaid. Julia pointed out the auto draft is going 3 quarterbacks deep, but they're not even the only team to take backup quarterbacks. So Julia, I would just ask for your general fantasy strategy on, is there a situation where you ever draft backup quarterback, backup tight end, and then on top of that, do any of these other like late round picks stand out to you?
I think that's definitely a situation where you are reading your league, right? Like I think about some of like the old school leagues that I'm in where it's like people who are just real casual. Maybe they have one league. They're always drafting 2 quarterbacks. They're always drafting 2 tight ends. So you might want to have a backup, but also you're trying to get a backup who's maybe later along, right? And you want to take advantage of, like, take the positional advantage you're getting when somebody is drafting. There are 2 quarterbacks in like round, let's see, did anyone do it here? But like maybe someone's going with Lamar Jackson and then, 4 rounds later, they're getting somebody else. I'd rather take the running backs or wide receivers there. If you have somebody that you're shooting for at the end, like I think Drake Maye is a fantastic late round quarterback. JJ McCarthy, I'm looking right now, Bryce Young. There's so many quarterbacks this season that I'm so okay with having, especially if you're thinking of getting a backup. Any of these guys, Trevor Lawrence. But I think if you get one, for me, it's like one of the top 4 or 5. Let me see. Jaden Daniels, Jackson Allen, Hurts, and Burrow. That's like I have a clear tier break after that. And tight end, I feel like you're either getting the top 3 or you're kind of waiting and you can grab someone later, because it's like those 5, 6, 7, they're not really going to do you that much good, right? They're not going to be that much better than George Kittle for what you're investing in.
Yes, certainly don't draft 5 of them.
I mean, look, let's say you're in a league and it's a trade crazy league. Everyone, and I'd love to know what league that is. If you know that all 12 people in there are just trading left and right, and you know that you can actually trade a couple of these tight ends, but you have to know that's your league, because that's not usually going to happen, right? We all draft people and we're like, we can trade someone, and you're like, yeah, I can't get rid of this person.
Yeah, that was exactly the read I was going to give of it. The generous take of drafting 5 tight ends was like, maybe they're thinking that's best player available at the time and they will just trade for a need later on. That is not a strategy I like to take, even with my league that I know will draft a ton. I also just I think there's a little bit of trolling happening right now in this draft. Like Trevor Lawrence not getting drafted, CJ Stroud not getting drafted, Jared Goff not getting drafted. I'm like, okay, we got a little fun.
No, Jared Goff not getting drafted is a good thing.
But I do want to throw out there that
behind Anthony Richardson, Jalen.
No, that's Scampers being Scampers.
Yeah,
Scampers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Classic Scampers.
But Austin's point brings up a point that I've been bringing up. Look at the quarterbacks that were all available and tell me why you're spending an early pick on quarterback.
Oh,
and look where Justin Herbert went. Yeah, Justin Herbert.
Oh yeah, every single time I do these drafts and I'm like, oh man, like one of my top 10 quarterbacks is sitting here in the 9th round. Let me go ahead and take them.
Yeah.
And then my other top 10 quarterback draft goes in the 12th round. And I'm just like, why do I do this to myself? Like I could have had Jaden Higgins or Ramondre Stevenson where I drafted Purdy, and those were the other 2 guys I was looking at. So
I literally did it on purpose to myself this time. I was like, I'm going to take Kyler Murray here, even though I really would rather have Jared Goff right now. I just want to see if Goff ends up being drafted.
Well, and that's the thing, right? That's why we do it. I mean, I personally think Purdy's going to be like a top 5 quarterback. I think Purdy's going. They have this.
Really?
Oh, I think he's going to be. They have a schedule given to them from the gods, right? Like it is.
Now they just need healthy wide receivers.
But do they? Like Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, yes.
So now they just need healthy wide receivers, running back, and tight end.
I'm writing the 49ers team report for Football Guys. Yeah, I can't report. And so I'm going through it and I'm like, cool, quarterback check, we're fine. Okay, tight end check, we're fine. Running back check, we're fine. And then I'm like, wide receiver. Here we go. You know what I mean? It's just there's just so many people. It's funny because they're so situated. I mean, they have Mac Jones, fantastic backup quarterback. Like, he's really a good backup quarterback, and he's a great backup quarterback for Brock Purdy. They're great, solid, wonderful. Christian McCaffrey's back. He's looking solid. I think Garendo's great over there. And to be fair, any running back that goes in that system seems to be fine. Who they sign? Amir Abdullah.
Jordan
Yeah,
James.
Oh, Jordan James. Yeah, I think Jordan James is going to be really good. But then it's just like, what are we going to do, wide receiver? But either way, I think he's going to have people who are going to catch that ball. And I think he runs more than people remember him running.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's a mildly hot take to call him top 5. I think top 10 maybe, but I don't know that I'm on board with the top 5.
You know what? I'll compromise. I'll say top 8.
There we go. It's a show.
Top 8.
It's a show of compromises.
Yeah.
Austin, you were not going to get away from this episode without getting keep trade cut. I just wanted to throw that out there. I made sure there was going to be enough room for it. This was one that I found interesting when I was going through the ADP. I'm calling this one wide receiver 1s at wide receiver 3 prices. These 3 guys are the wide receiver 1 on their team. They were very close to each other in ADP. They actually did not go as close to each other in this draft as I thought they would. Julia, I always let the guest go last here, so I'll make Austin start. It is keep, trade, cut, Calvin Ridley, Khalil Shakir, and Stephon Diggs. And I just want to throw out there, they are going between 36 and 41, wide receiver 36 and wide receiver 41 in most drafts. But there was 2 rounds. They went among 3 rounds in this draft. There was 2 full rounds separating them, Austin. Calvin Ridley, Khalil Shakir, Stephon Diggs, keep, trade, cut.
Oh, geez. This is one of the ones where, like, at first, like, I'm just going to walk through my thinking for a second. At first, I was like, oh, this one's easy. I'm going to keep Khalil Shakir, trade Calvin Ridley, and cut Stephon Diggs. But the more I think about it, the more complicated it gets. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I really love Drake Maye this year. And if Stephon Diggs does a good job coming off the injury, has a start to the season like he did last year, that could be really nice. Khalil Shakir, is he really going to continue that PPR upside he had last year? Calvin Ridley, I mean, he's got a real quarterback now. Like, this one gets really tough for me. I think I will keep, I don't even know. I would keep Shakir and trade Calvin Ridley, because I think there are still some Ridley truthers out there and can get some value on it. And then I will cut Stephon Diggs because I'm concerned about the age coming off. It was a knee injury, right? So it's a pretty significant injury for a 30-year-old receiver. So I'll cut Diggs.
Josh?
I'm keeping Ridley because he's going to have the best season of the 3. I'm going to trade Diggs for whatever I can get him, and I'm going to cut Shakir because in half PPR, his value is nothing.
Ooh.
And saying that's coming from the guy that drafted Khalil Shakir.
I was going to say, Julia, I did this question in honor of me and you doing our first ever rookie draft together and fighting over Khalil Shakir. And then you actually drafted.
We all make
Stephon
mistakes.
Diggs. I would say, and then you actually drafted Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, because I'm completely different, and I'm 100% committed. So I'm keeping Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs will be
first for this show, folks, because I don't normally have 3 guests.
I was not. Early on in the season, I was like, I don't know, this guy, like the guy that none of the teammates want him to date his sister. Remember that? Like, I was like, I don't know. But I was always pretty high on Drake Maye. And the more I think about it, like, yes, he is coming back from a knee injury, but he's had time. He's okay. Follow the money, right? Lots of money sending his way. They haven't really done much else. I think he is going to be the alpha. He is the wide receiver 1. He is the guy. And he functions so well when he is the guy. And you get a good solid year and a half out of Diggs before he gets a little too sassy. So I think you keep him for that year. I think I think he will break top 20. I think we'll finish top 20. I am going to cut Calvin Ridley because I don't believe in Cam Ward.
Oh, wow.
And how dare you?
Yeah, you take that hat off, bro. And then I will trade Khalil Shakir because I once did. I wanted to love him. And you think to yourself, you know what? Yeah, I should have pass catchers on the Buffalo Bills because Josh Allen is so amazing. But I don't believe there was a wide receiver in the top. Wow, where was his top top finishing wide receiver fantasy wise last year.
I think Shakir was 28.
like
It was
37
yeah.
or whatever it was.
Yeah, it wasn't high, Bob. But you can convince someone like you guys that it could totally happen. It could totally happen. And you know what? It could happen. It could happen. It's probably not going to. He's going to spread that ball around, just like how I don't want a pass catcher in Kansas City. I don't want any of those guys because it's when you get close to the goal line, Josh Allen's going to run it in, or I don't know. But like, yes, exactly. It's something like that. It's going to be one of those things. But we were deciding on my guys for the ballers, and like Diggs was up there for me. Diggs was like in second place for me. Yeah. Because
I will say, just to follow up, like I was tempted to keep Diggs, trade Ridley, because I do think that Ridley's value is the highest, and I would be fine keeping Diggs. I looked at this from a half PPR perspective, and the biggest reason why cutting Khalil Shakir makes sense. Who's scoring the touchdowns in Buffalo? Because it's not Shakir. Diggs is going to score touchdowns with Drake
Look,
May.
If I could cut two and keep one, I would do that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree wholeheartedly. But that's what I'm getting at. That's like my reasoning behind cutting Shakir. Like in half PPR, you like receptions help, but they're not going to carry you the same way that they do in PPR. You still need touchdowns the same way that you do in standard leagues. Khalil Shakir is not scoring more than 4 touchdowns. It's the Zay Flowers effect.
Yeah, I think that's fair, because part of the reason I said keep is because I was thinking about the fact that I traded for Khalil Shakir in a contending team, dynasty team that's full PPR last year. And I'm like, I think I feel good about having him still for this year. But to your point,
think you feel good?
full PPR.
It's not a good feeling. It's like this is gonna work out, right? I think Tennessee could be a dumpster fire. Tennessee could be a dumpster fire.
I just love that I love that Julia's defense of Khalil Shakir was, it's not going to happen, but it could happen. And I feel like you were sending me a trade offer as you were like, it could happen, Ryan.
I know it might happen.
Right?
I mean, if he's one of those things where like he'll have games, but you'll be scared to start him. You won't know when to start him. You won't know when.
All right, guys, let's break down these drafts. So I'm going to have you here all night. Not that I don't love talking to you, but I imagine you guys all have better things to do with your time. Julia, you can get us started. You do not need to talk about every player you drafted. Talk about if you tried out a strategy, a lot like you did with the JSN. You mentioned you wanted to see how your team felt. How do you like it after that JSN pick? But you could talk about values or guys that you wish you hadn't picked, things like that.
I do. Well, we know how I feel about JSN, but I like where it turned out. I thought I got Joe Burrow at a great value because he was the end of that tier for me for quarterbacks. Yeah. We now know how I feel about Stephon Diggs, who I felt was like a steal in the 7th round. And Hawkinson dropping to 8th is great too. I'm on the Tank Bigsby train. Jump on, join me. Why not? I think that Roschon Johnson is a great backup in Chicago who could get a lot of goal line work in that offense. I'm not super into Kyle Monangai. And I think Cedric Tillman, we've forgotten how good Cedric Tillman can be. Let's just hope that the quarterback is an old man.
I was going to say, if for anybody who might have missed the news, Kenny Pickett is going to be sidelined for at least a week, they said, and Joe Flacco is going to take the predominant first-team reps. So
I said on a call the other day that somewhere, wherever Shedeur Sanders is living, he's got a list of all the Cleveland quarterbacks, and he just crossed a line through Kenny Pickett, and he was probably like, one down.
In a creepy little room. Josh,
yeah, it's like dark.
Josh, walk us through your draft. Anything you were surprised you got? How the strategy worked out for you?
I like my first 6 picks. I for anybody that's watched our shows, people know how high I am on Brian Thomas Jr. So I kind of wanted to see how it would look if I didn't wait to take him in the 2nd round and taking him in the 1st. I was dead set. I was like, I know I can get Devon Achane in the 2nd round because he's my RB2 heading into the season. Of course, what happens? TVs and tequila right there, the next pick.
Drake London is going to have an incredible year. That is a great pick.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, if Drake London is your consolation prize, that is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Breece Hall is my RB7 this year. I'm perfectly fine taking him as my RB1 in the 3rd. I like Walker, love Henderson and Ridley there. But then it's just like after that, the board did not fall the way that I wanted it to fall at all. I thought that like every draft that I've done,
Mhm.
Tucker Kraft is like the tight end 12 off the board.
Yeah.
So him going at 7-10, I'm just like, damn, okay, maybe I do need to start reevaluating and just like taking him where I have him ranked, because if I want him, I'm going to grab him. I mean, I'm not mad about Hunter Henry in the 10th. I think he's going to have a ton of value, especially coming off a 90 target season. And as I said earlier about Purdy, I mean, seeing, Drake Maye going in the 13, Jordan Love, who I have as a top 12 quarterback, going at 212 or 12-12, like I could have rather waited and taken another wide receiver. I'm starting to buy into Jaden Higgins as a potential top 40 option at wide receiver for the Texans.
Yeah, I was gonna say you mentioned him, but you said you got sniped on him based on your strategy there too. So
yep.
I feel like you were sniped a lot, Josh. I feel like you were like like on everything.
TDs and tequila was like in my head, and I'm just like, what are we doing here?
Tequila in your head. Yes.
There you go. That happened.
I much prefer tequila in my belly, but that's okay.
Austin, talk about anchor fucking running back, my friend.
Yeah, things went south on this one kind of quickly. So I felt really good through 4 rounds, getting Jahmyr Gibbs, AJ Brown, Trey McBride, Devontae Adams. Felt like a really solid core. And then I saw David Montgomery go the pick after I took Devontae Adams. And I thought, I probably should have taken David Montgomery my pick instead. And at that point, I could not get any of the running backs that I really wanted at ADP. I was trying to really stay tight to ADP and see how that played out. It did not play out well. I feel very nervous about my RB2 situation, or I would if this was a real league. I do feel like I made up for it a little bit at the end by kind of attacking a bunch of guys that could potentially have good upside if somebody gets injured ahead of them. But that's not ideally how I like to play this. I got into like a weird RB dead zone too, where there was just guys that I didn't like. So around the time I took Chris Godwin, Brandon Ayuk, Kyler Murray, I was like, I don't really like any of these players and feel super strongly about them. Maybe at the ADP, I should have gone for a pick there and said, you know what, I'll just try Travis Etienne or Jaylen Warren and go for it. But they don't really excite me. And I was like, I'm just going to deal with it. I'm going to just bite the bullet. We'll hit RB hard later. And in a league like this, I would be checking the waiver wires every week and spending a lot of fab if there was like a clear winner coming out of any given week.
I have one question for you based on this, Austin. Rome Odunze and 3 picks later, DeAndre Swift. Do you have a problem with DeAndre Swift? Is he just not on your radar? Because I love him, and I think that would have made your entire team.
We had this conversation.
But we're having it now because look how bad your team is without DeAndre Swift on it.
But he's not. But DeAndre Swift isn't going to get all the touchdowns. Roshan Johnson will.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to get all.
Who I got? When did I get him? Right at the end.
See, do you not pay attention to our mock drafts, Ryan? This is literally the conversation you and I had.
I get that, but I'm just saying in this situation, you have a chance to get a guy who is the lead back in a Ben Johnson offense, and you go with the wide receiver 2 in that same offense instead. I'm not going to stop calling you out on your bullshit.
He's not a Swiftie.
The lead back in a.
How have we not used that yet?
That is true, actually.
Well, in fairness, this is the first time we've brought up DeAndre Swift this entire episode.
I mean, honestly,
super polarizing. I think
it seems like it. It's about to make me and my co-host fight each other.
I mean, honestly, at this point in the draft, I was thinking, do I want Joe Mixon or Isaiah Pacheco here? DeAndre Swift, I was not going to take in front of you on principle because I was like, I don't know, I'm sticking to my guns.
God, I would have rather had Swift over both those guys.
I mean, also, can we
Austin,
can we talk about your? I mean, Godwin, Ayuk, Harris. You got the walking wounded over there, right? Like,
yeah. Well, it's like when you're playing fantasy baseball and you draft guys like Tyler Glasnow that missed 50 games every year. You got to just get a bunch of them and hope you get the injury bug. All right.
I just, in my mind, I see Ayuk limping, but like Najee behind him holding on to him.
Austin runs a hospital in his spare time. So he's used to this, right?
Yeah, exactly. Trying to capitalize.
Joe Mixon would have fit in really well on that team.
Real quick, guys, you guys kind of addressed this one. I want to get out of here with some user questions. Do we think it's more likely that Maye finishes inside the top 12 or outside the top 12? I felt like the show was pretty pro Drake Maye.
Yeah, 12 is. 12 is hard. I feel like he's going to be just outside of that. Like I feel like a solid 15-ish. I don't know. Frick,
The nerd in
that's
me
tough.
is like, statistically speaking, it is literally more likely that he will finish outside the top 12.
It is. It is. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
But going with the actual like point of the question, I think 12 is right around the range. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's 50-50. I could truly see it going either way, which is why I like him as like a backup if I have a potentially injury riddled guy or someone who
You
um,
having
has
injuries
to
on
start.
your team?
Oh,
That seems unusual.
Hey, that's how you get value.
Austin Amandolia, MD.
I think it also depends on how much Drake May runs. I think if he turns on
that's
that,
where I was gonna
that
go with
part, right? And he's getting if he's running in some of those touchdowns early on, then yeah.
Josh.
Yeah, it's all going to boil down to rushing yards. I mean, he slots in as my QB 14, and for what it's worth, I do have him rated higher than Justin Fields. So,
well, that kind of brings me. I love how Steven framed the next part of this question, because these are the kind of questions I love when people ask. 12-team PPR. Would you rather have Maye and AJ Brown or Bryce Young and Nico Collins? I don't even know if this is the decision you have to make, because AJ Brown and Nico Collins go next to each other in the draft. I guess technically they do. Both of them go pretty close to each other in drafts. Julia, Maye and AJ Brown, Bryce Young, Nico Collins.
Well, I mean, it says Maye is my QB2. So who's my QB1? Or does he mean like my quarterback? Okay,
that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a super flex league, but yeah.
I think no, I feel pretty certain. I will stand strong and say I would prefer to have Maye and AJ Brown. I do think Bryce Young will have a better season. Holding on to those shares.
Me too.
Yeah, can't get rid of him. So
I know I couldn't pry him away from you last year. I was so mad about
my
that.
cold dead hands. I know. I think Bryce Young will have a better season, but like we just said, the rushing upside of Maye. Nico, again, he's solid. AJ Brown is good as well. Maybe you're kind of going off of like that, like we were talking about that bad line in Houston. Yeah, I'll take Maye and Brown over Young and Collins. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Steven wrote this question for Josh in particular because of the AJ Brown, Nico Collins bit.
Yeah, so that has been the fight of Club Fantasy summer. Is AJ Brown, Nico Collins. Yeah.
I mean, I'm very much on the Drake May, AJ Brown side, like hands down, like running, not walking on it. Because for AJ, like just for AJ Brown alone in particular on this, like Saquon Barkley is not going to rush for 2,000 yards again. And the Eagles are going to regress in general. It happens every year to the Super Bowl winning team. They're not going to be leading games by 2-3 touchdowns by the start of the first half the way they were last year, and then just running the ball to Saquon Barkley for 2 full quarters and not passing the ball to AJ Brown. AJ Brown's going to get the ball more often throughout the full game. We saw multiple times last year he started a game out with like 5 or 6 catches in like the first quarter and a half, and then they're up and they quit throwing the ball. I don't see that being the game script this year, so I'm running with AJ Brown. I mean, to me, AJ Brown could be a top 3 fantasy receiver this year.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Josh,
spicy.
is it a consensus?
Oh, I mean, this is Maye and AJ Brown. It's not even close.
Same for me.
I mean, Ryan, during our Texans preview, I made the case that Nico Collins can finish as a top 3 wide receiver this year. That same argument holds true for AJ Brown. He does everything that Nico does, getting down the field, and actually does it better. And if they're not going to run the football near as much, Saquon's not going to run for 2,000 yards. So when they regress from a rushing perspective, what is that going to do? It's going to prop up their passing numbers. And you're going to get back to 2022, 2023 AJ Brown when he was over 1,400 yards. And guess what? AJ Brown scores a lot more touchdowns than Nico Collins does.
Yeah.
So just from that wide receiver standpoint, I'll take, AJ Brown there. But it's Maye over Bryce Young, and it's not that close for me because Maye is going to give you 500 plus rushing yards this year.
As a Bryce Young truther, I also agree. After a show of discord, we end the show on a chord and a chord. Great job, all.
I see what you did there. That was good. Yeah.
You can head to Discord.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But I'll let Julia do the outro first as the guest. So, Julia, thank you so much. Thank you for giving us 75 minutes. Normally, these shows don't go this long, but I think everybody just had such a blast with you. People are asking for a 3-hour show. To that, I say, hell no.
Good Lord. I have to go to bed. I'm an old
we
woman.
gotta get this woman out of
7:15.
here. Me too.
I
I'm
know.
an old ass man, everybody. Julia, remind everybody where they can find
I
you.
love you, Julia.
Anything you
I'm
have coming
so
out.
tired. You can find me over at Fancy Footballers and Football Guys. So both those places got a lot of stuff going on. So
And
yep.
it's at Julia Papworth. Very simple.
Yes, it is. And you can probably go to my Instagram and see me walking on my hands somewhere because that's what I do.
Because that's one thing she can do that not the other of us can do in this
Why-
room. That's for
Why
damn
walk
sure.
on your feet when you can walk on your hands? That's what I say every day.
I've never said that in my life. Austin, other than telling folks to join the Discord, what do you got going on, my friend?
Yeah, you could just find me here at clubfantasyfl.com. I'll be doing the mock shows throughout the rest of the year. And, soon it'll be DFS season again. And I'm very much looking forward to getting back into the DFS streets. So you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Austin_FFL, but otherwise catch me here on YouTube.
Josh, tell people about yourself, but more importantly, tell people about Women of Fantasy Football and what we have going on this month.
Yeah, it's all about women of fantasy football. Womenoffantasyfootball.com, at women_FF on Twitter and Instagram, and at women_FF on Blue Sky if you're over on that side as well. I mean, it's charity season over there. That's what we're doing, hyping up women in the industry. So thanks, Julia, for hopping on. This is what we do.
Yeah, we very much appreciate it.
Hey.
And as much as we all hate Nico Collins, you can still get an autographed Nico Collins jersey with a $5 raffle ticket.
No, we love.
that
Don't
ra-
hear
that
what we are
raffle-
not
that
saying.
raffle
We
will
love
be
Nico
live
Collins.
on Monday. Yep.
There you go.
We
Live
love
I
on
just
Monday.
got the
Nico
graphics
Collins.
in my inbox, so we'll launch that on Monday.
All right, guys, this show goes live every single Friday with a new mock draft. We are focusing on home league settings for the rest of this month because your home league draft is coming up. And guess what? Next week for the mock draft, we're mocking my home league. 14-team PPR with my childhood best friend, Dan Metzger, is going to be the guest on the show. We're going to start having ranking episodes coming out every single Wednesday on our No Punt Intended episode. We still have our Look Inside series where we broke down every single team for fantasy football purposes. There's only 5 teams left to air. 3 will come out next week, 2 the week after that. Basically, there's no reason for you not to like, subscribe. And again, if we said anything on the show you agree with, more importantly, if we said anything on the show you disagree with, drop it in the comments. It feels good to get it out and fight with us, but it also helps with the YouTube algorithm so that more people will watch this show. Do it. Drop it in the comments. Always remember, folks, defense wins championships, offense wins fantasy football, and practice makes perfect. We will see you at the next mock draft.